Alright, gather around and grab your popcorn because we're about to take a trip down memory lane. And by memory lane, I mean a pixelated path that's more jagged than my Aunt Edna's knitting. Welcome to the world of Pixel Gun 3D, a game that's seen more ups and downs than a roller coaster at Six Flags. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? The year was 2013, the world was a simpler place. People were doing the Harlem Shake and everyone was obsessed with this little bird game called Flappy Bird. And some genius decided to combine Minecraft and a first-person shooter, and thus, Pixel Gun 3D was born. Now I know what you're thinking. Blistering Faith, why would anyone want to combine Minecraft and a shooter? Well, my dear viewer, why does the sun rise? Why does the toast always fall butter side down? Some things just are. And in this case, the result was a game that was as addictive as Grandma's apple pie, and twice as deadly. The game was developed by a company called Cubic Games, and let me tell you, these guys knew what they were doing. They took one look at the gaming landscape and said, you know what this needs? More pixels. And thus they set out to create a game that was as charmingly blocky as it was brutally competitive. Pixel Gun 3D was a hit right out of the gate. It was like if Minecraft and Call of Duty had a baby, and that baby was raised by wolves in the wild world of mobile gaming. It was raw, it was gritty, and it was a whole lot of fun. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Oh no, my friends. Like any good drama, there were twists and turns aplenty. There were updates that were about as well received as Skunk at a garden party, and balance changes that had players tearing their hair out. But through it all, Pixel Gun 3D endured. We laughed, we cried, and we questioned the sanity of the game developers, but our journey is just beginning. So buckle up because we're about to dive into the good old days when pixels were pure and life was simpler. Buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to hit the nostalgic button harder than a teenager hitting the snooze button on a Monday morning. Welcome to the golden age of Pixel Gun 3D, a time when the pixels were pure and the gameplay was fresh, and the microtransactions were, well, let's not talk about that. Now, the early days of Pixel Gun 3D were like the Wild West of mobile gaming. It was a time when men were men, women were women, and pixelated zombies were, well, pixelated zombies. The game was a breath of fresh air in a market saturated with Candy Crush clones and endless runners. It was a time when you could shoot your friends in the face with a pixelated shotgun and then laugh about it all over a virtual cup of pixelated tea. The game modes were as varied as a box of chocolates. You never knew what you were gonna get. From the classic deathmatch to the chaotic flag capture, there was something for everyone. And let's not forget about the iconic survival mode, a mode so tough it made Dark Souls look like a walk in the park. And the weapons. Oh, the weapons. They were as varied as my ex's, but only about, well, half as deadly. From the simple but reliable pixel gun to the utterly ridiculous automatic peacemaker, there were a bunch of tools of destruction for every occasion. And let's not forget about the pets. Who doesn't want a dragon or a T-Rex backing them up in a firefight? But it wasn't all fun and games. No, my friends, there were dark clouds on the horizon. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And for every successful game, there is a horde of angry players just waiting to rip it to shreds. But we'll get to that in our next scene. For now, let's bask in the glow of the good old days, a time when the Pixel Gun 3D was the new kid on the block, and we were all too busy having fun to notice the flaws. But like the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and little did we know the end was closer than we thought. Alrighty folks, grab your tissues and prepare your comfort food because we're about to dive into the dark side of Pixel Gun 3D. This is the part of the story where the hero stumbles, where the cracks start to show. It's like watching your favorite band sell out, or finding out your favorite restaurant started using cheap ingredients.
Oh, hell no!
It's a heartbreak, pure and simple. Now every game has its issues, and Pixel Gun 3D was no exception. But for a while, it seemed like the developers were playing a game of their own. How many ways can we piss off our player base? Spoiler alert, the answer was a lot. First, there were updates. Oh, the updates. They came in like a wrecking ball, smashing through the game we knew and loved and leaving a pixelated mess in their wake. It was like waking up one morning to find that your charming, rustic cottage had been replaced with a neon-lit nightclub. Then there were the microtransactions. Now, I'm not against spending a little cash on a game I love, but when the price of a virtual gun is higher than my monthly coffee budget, we've got a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
It was like the developers were channeling their inner Mr. Krabs, squeezing every last penny out of their players. And let's not forget about the hackers. Oh, the hackers. They swooped in like pixelated vultures, turning matches into a chaotic mess of insta-kills and invincible players. It was like trying to play chess with a pigeon. No matter how good you were, the pigeon is just gonna knock over the pieces, crap on the board, and strut around like it's victorious. But the worst part was seeing a game that we loved fall from grace. It was like watching a beloved childhood movie and realizing it's actually terrible. It was a betrayal, a stab in the back from a trusted friend. But don't lose hope, dear viewers, because just when things were looking their darkest, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon. It's time to dry those tears and put down the comfort food, because we're about to witness a comeback story that would make Rocky proud. Welcome to the resurgence of Pixel Gun 3D, a tale of redemption that's as heartwarming as a pixelated fireplace. Now, we've all seen our fair share of comebacks, the underdog team winning the championship, the washed-up actor scoring a hit movie, and the band that breaks up then reunites for a sold-out tour. But let me tell you, none of them hold a candle to the comeback of Pixel Gun 3D. It started with a whisper, rumors of changes, of improvements. The developers, it seemed, had finally pulled their heads out of their pixelated asses and started listening to their players. It was like a breath of fresh air in a smog-filled city, a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. The updates started rolling in, and for once they were good. Balance changes that actually made sense, new content that was fun and engaging, and best of all, a crackdown on hackers that was as popping bubble wrap. It was like the developers had finally remembered that they were making a game, not a cash grab. And the microtransactions, well, they were still there, but they were less intrusive and less predatory. It was like going from a used car salesman to a friendly shopkeeper. Sure, they still wanted your money, but they weren't going to squeeze you dry. But the best part, the cherry on top of this pixelated sundae, was the return of the community. Players started coming back, drawn in by the improvements and promise of a better game. It was like a family reunion, but without the awkward conversations and the questionable potato salad. And just like that, Pixel Gun 3D was back in the game.
We are back, baby.
It was a phoenix rising from the ashes, a hero returning from exile. But the journey wasn't over. Oh no, my friends, we're just getting started. Because up next, we're diving headfirst into the blocky battlefield that is Pixel Gun 3D gameplay. Strap on your helmets and load up your pixel guns because we're about to dive headfirst into the blocky battlefield of Pixel Gun 3D. It's a world where the reflexes are king, strategy is queen, and the lag is the jester messing everything up. Now, the gameplay of Pixel Gun 3D is like a fine stew. It's a mix of different ingredients all simmering together to create something delicious. Or in this case, something deliciously chaotic. You've got your first-person shooter mechanics, your sandbox, world building, and a dash of RPG elements for flavor. It's like if Minecraft, Call of Duty, and World of Warcraft had a baby and that baby was raised by wolves in the wild world of mobile gaming.
Flashback.
It was like if Minecraft and Call of Duty had a baby, and that baby was raised by wolves in the wild world of mobile gaming.
End of flashback.
The controls were as smooth as a baby's bottom with intuitive touch controls that make blasting your enemies into pixelated bits a breeze. And the maps, oh the maps, they're as varied as a box of chocolates and twice as sweet. From the spooky silent school to the futuristic space station, each map is a playground of destruction and canvas for your pixelated Picasso. Alright, now it's time we meet the cast of our pixelated play. The heroes, the villains, and let's be honest, they're mostly just different flavors of cannon fodder. But that's what makes them so endearing. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly of Pixel Gun 3D characters. Now, the characters in Pixel Gun 3D are like a box of mismatched socks. They're all different, they're all a little weird, and you're not quite sure where they all came from. But somehow they all fit together to create a colorful, chaotic tapestry of pixelated pandemonium. First up, we've got the good guys, or at least the guys you're supposed to be rooting for. They're the ones with the cool weapons, the flashy skins, and the ability to respawn after being blown to bits. They're like the action heroes of the pixel world, always ready for a fight and never backing down. Then we've got the bad guys, the zombies, the monsters, the other players who are just a bit better than you are. They're the ones who make the game challenging, who keep you on your toes and your finger on the trigger. They're like the villains in a horror movie, always lurking just out of sight and ready to jump out when you least expect it. But let's not forget the ugly. Oh, the ugly. The characters with the weird skins, the bizarre weapons, and the questionable tactics. They're the ones that make you scratch your head and wonder, who thought this was a good idea? But in a weird way, they're also the ones who make the game so much fun. But like any good cast of characters, the ones in Pixel Gun 3D are more than just appearances. They're a reflection of the players themselves, a mirror held up to the chaotic, competitive, and utterly ridiculous world of online gaming, especially mobile gaming. And that, my friends, bring us to the ends of our character study. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to take a closer look at the arsenal of absurdity that is Pixel Gun's wacky weapons. Lock and load. Now for the weapons in Pixel Gun 3D. They're like a mad scientist's dream come true. They're a mix of the familiar, the fantastical, and the downright bizarre. It's like the developers took one look at the laws of physics, laughed, and then threw them out the window. First up, we've got the classics, the pixel gun, the shotgun, and the sniper rifle. These are the bread and butter of any pixelated warrior, the tools you turn to when you need to get the job done. They're like the reliable old car you keep in your garage, and it's always ready to go when you need it. Then we've got the weird ones, the laser minigun, the ghost lantern, and the cherry bomb. These are the weapons that make you go, wait, what?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
They're the eccentric uncle at the family reunion, always ready with a strange story or a bizarre trick. Let's not forget about the downright absurd. The weapons that make you question the sanity of the developers and your own sanity for using them. The weapons like the nuclear revolver, the alien blaster, and the infamous holy shotgun. These are the weapons that make Pixel Gun 3D the chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly ridiculous game that it is. But like any good arsenal, the weapons in Pixel Gun are more than just firepower. They're a reflection of the game's personality, a testament to its commitment to fun, chaos, and a healthy dose of absurdity. Alright, so strap on your hiking boots and grab your pixelated pickaxes because we're about to explore the peaks and pits of Pixel Gun 3D's level design. It's a journey that's as thrilling as a roller coaster ride, but twice as nauseating. Now the levels in Pixel Gun 3D are like a box of mismatched Lego bricks. They're all different shapes and sizes and they don't always fit together perfectly, but somehow they come together to create a world that's as colorful, chaotic, and utterly captivating as the Jackson Pollock painting. First up, we've got the classics, the pool party, the silent school, and the Coliseum. These are the levels that have stood the test of time, the ones that have become as iconic as the game itself. They're like the landmarks of the pixelated world and are always there to guide you on your journey. Then we've got the weird ones, the space station, the ghost town, the Atlantis. These are all the levels that make you question the sanity of the developers and your own sanity for playing them. They're like the strange dreams you have after eating too much cheese. Bizarre and bewildering, but oddly compelling. Now for the absurd, the Toy Factory, Ice Palace, and the infamous Block Mart. These levels are just simply chaotic and unpredictable and utterly ridiculous, as the game is at times. But like any good level design, the ones in Pixel Gun 3D are more than just their aesthetics, they're a reflection of the game's personality. A testament to its fun, chaotic, and healthy dose of absurdity. The place where heroes are made, friendships are formed, and trolls are banished to the Shadow Realm. Welcome to the best and worst of Pixel Gun 3D's players. Now the players in Pixel Gun 3D are like a high school cafeteria. You've got your jocks, your nerds, your goths, and your class clowns. It's like a melting pot of personalities all coming together to create a community that's as diverse as it is chaotic. First up, we've got the pros. The players who can snipe you from across the map, who can dodge bullets like they're in the Matrix, and who can rack up kills like they're collecting Pokemon cards. They're like the superheroes of the pixelated world, always ready to save the day and steal your kills. Then we've got the noobs, the players who run around like headless chickens and shoot at walls, who can't tell their pixel gun from their pixel pickaxe. They're like the comic relief in a war movie, always good for a laugh and a free kill. But let's not forget about the trolls, the players who spam the chat, who team kill, who do everything in their power to ruin your day. They're like the villains in the superhero movie, always scheming, always causing trouble, and always getting their asses kicked. But, like any good community, the one in Pixel Gun 3D is more than just its players. It's a reflection of the game itself. A testament to its ability to bring people together, to create friendships, rivalries, and unforgettable moments. Alrighty everyone, we've reached the end of our pixelated journey. We've laughed, we've cried, we've blown up countless zombies. It's been a wild ride, but like all good things, it must come to an end. So without further ado, here's our final verdict, our love letter to Pixel Gun 3D. Now Pixel Gun 3D is like that old beat up car in your garage. It's not the fastest, it's not the prettiest, and it sure as hell isn't the most reliable. But damn it, it's got character. It's got charm. And most importantly, it's got a whole lot of heart. The gameplay is as chaotic as a mosh pit at a punk rock concert and twice as fun. The characters are as varied as a box of crayons and twice as colorful. The weapons are as absurd as a Monty Python sketch and twice as hilarious. The levels are as diverse as a buffet at a Vegas casino and twice as enticing. The community is as vibrant as a carnival and twice as entertaining. And the developers, well, they're as mad as a hatter and twice as creative. But like any good love letter, there comes one with confession. A confession of love, of admiration, of a deep, abiding respect. Because despite its flaws, despite its quirks, and despite its downright absurdity, in the end, we love Pixel Gun 3D. We love it for its chaos, for its creativity, and its unapologetic commitment to fun. So here's to you, Pixel Gun. Here's to the laughs, the tears, and the countless hours of fun. Here's to the memories, the friendships, and the epic battles. Here's to the past. Here's to you, Pixel Gun 3D. You're a hot mess, but you're our hot mess, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And that, my friends, is the end of the story. But don't worry, because in the world of Pixel Gun 3D, there's always another adventure just around the corner. So keep your pixel guns loaded, your reflexes sharp, and your spirits high. Because in the world of Pixel Gun 3D, the fun never ends.